The haunted Benson Grist Mill has been a source of some of the most incredible paranormal activity and best evidence that we have ever captured. But is the evidence that we captured truly paranormal, or could it be explained away? We'll talk about it on this M&M.
You're recording, right?
Yeah.
There was definitely a man talking out here. We are a group of investigators.
And I didn't even turn it on,
Skeptics.
FYI, and it's on again in the middle of nowhere.
And one that's a bit empathic.
I think that I'm too empathic, that the room was upset that we were ghost hunting.
Join us on our adventures of diagnosing the mysteries of the paranormal. Hello, and on this debut episode of M&M for Dr. Ghost Hunters, we are going to break down evidence of a recent investigation that we had at the Benson Grist Mill. We'll show you clips of some incredible EVPs, some disembodied voices. We'll make a full believer out of our skeptic, Jamie. But first in M&M, I want to explain a little bit what this title means. So in medicine, an M&M is a morbidity and mortality conference, and it's one of the more intense and highly scrutinized conferences that you can attend in the medical profession. I attended these during residency, and they're terrifying. You take a case, you bring in experts, and they pick it apart. And that's fully what we intend to do with the evidence that we captured on our recent trip to Benson Grist Mill with the Back to the Future podcast. So I decided, let's bring in some people to help us break this down. We've got Jamie. Dr. Ghost Hunters, Jamie. Jamie, welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We've got Sarah, who's producing. Sarah, let's put Jamie on the screen. And we also have Ricky from Back to the Future podcast, and also now making his second appearance on Dr. Ghost Hunters.
Yeah.
Ricky, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
And of course, what would Dr. Ghost Hunters be without Dr. Ghost Hunter Jason? Jason, welcome.
Wait, what?
Jason? No Jason? Anyone?
Hey, wait. Can we start this over? Start with me again and just say my name.
Ricky?
Present.
Jamie?
Here.
Jason? Jason's out cupcaking. He is not here. He tried to tell us that it depended on a football game. The football game happened earlier today.
Said as long as Notre Dame does not interfere with the recording of the show that I am so dedicated to, I will be there.
That's what he said.
I will be there for each of you.
And
That game happened 3 hours ago.
we reached out to him, and here's the response.
Dude, he ghosted your show so hard.
I guess he did. I mean, that might be the most legitimate ghost that we have here, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
To set up a joke for you. So Jason's not here tonight, and we intend to fully roast him at every opportunity we get. We do have a Diet Coke sitting out for him in front of his chair.
Swig's real good tonight.
Yeah, we did get swig. Everyone enjoying their swig?
Delicious.
Sarah and Nicole are here as well. They're just off camera. You guys enjoying your swig? Perfect. Ours might be a little more loaded than Ricky's, but still enjoyable.
Yep.
Okay, so let's get to some things. The Benson Grist Mill. If you haven't seen the episode, go check it out after this. We have been there several times. Ricky, the first time you were there. Jamie, you've been there a few times now. It's a 7-acre piece of property just west of Salt Lake City, Utah. It's a restoration replica museum. So they do have the grist mill from the 1800s located there on the property. And that seems to be the source of most of the paranormal activity. Now, Ghost Adventures has been there. They reported seeing numerous things outside of the mill, but really the only place that we've had activity has been inside of the mill. It's been one of the locations where we've captured our most incredible evidence. We've had EVPs. We've had full sentence EVPs that we have not been able to debunk. Jamie, I think this is a good time to talk about it. We heard footsteps inside of the mill. Do you recall this? I think it was the first time that you were there. You, me, and Jason were on the first floor. Sarah was out in the car sleeping.
Was that when it was on the third floor?
We heard the
Or-
footsteps up on the third floor.
Yeah, creaking around.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And that one, I don't think you were ever able to fully debunk.
No, we didn't.
So certainly some significant evidence that we've captured there. first of all, I want to talk about the episode that we had last week. So that's what we're going to be breaking down.
Yeah.
Ricky, did you watch it?
I did.
What do you think?
Start to finish. I thought it was a lot of fun. You did a really good job editing it up and capturing all the exciting and fun parts. Hands down, my favorite part was when I mentioned on the show that I thought Tim was possessed when he went and did his solo.
You did.
After watching that, I've never been more convinced. And oddly enough, shortly after that, he ghosted the two of us.
He did. He did. In true ghost form. And, you know, we do have a clip of him when you joked that he was possessed. I had no idea that he was up in the attic by himself.
Yeah.
Until our CCTV footage captured it.
Yeah.
Afterwards, and I was editing and saw that. So we are going to break down a clip of that. Jamie, did you watch it?
No.
You haven't watched it. But you did.
What?
You did watch the live.
I watched the live.
You see this?
Yeah, but not the whole.
What am I doing
episode.
over here?
The unedited.
I mean, to her
Yeah.
credit, at least you watched like the 2.5 hour live version, which
Yeah.
you can go watch if you're someone who likes to watch the full investigation unedited. Go to our YouTube, click on live, and you can see some of those locations where we're able to have internet access to do that.
Yeah.
And go check those out. You can always watch them well after the fact as well. And before we go any further, I do want to remind people, for everyone here watching on YouTube, if you do enjoy what you are seeing, we very much appreciate it if you click a thumbs up, if you subscribe, and then you turn on notifications, which I think in the coming year is going to be more important. We here have talked about doing different roundtables. We did our talk on Sarah Winchester and the just complete myth and lore behind her. We talked about orbs just a couple weeks ago, and that was a great conversation I think people enjoyed. And we're going to be doing some of these debrief type episodes as well. So make sure to turn on those notifications so you never miss a beat. I tend to post them on Instagram as well, a day or so ahead of time, but I'm not great at it. So that's going to be your best spot to catch these. Okay, so I want to get into a few things from the viewers first. We did have some comments on the episode, and then we're going to play some of the evidence and some of the clips there. So let me see if I can pull these up as I'm clicking around. Where in the world did they go? I don't see them. I had them. Sarah, where are all the clips?
While you're trying to find that, I just want to throw out the fact of
Nope.
how grateful I am that we don't have to sit here and listen to another one of Jason's boring ass stories again. Guy who never shuts up, drones on and on and on. You're welcome.
Thank you for that, Pad. I did find it. We're under a different file, so here we are. Okay, comment number 1 came from Creeps. Awesome collab. Love Ricky's dedication to the task at hand. He's absolutely correct with Ghostbusters 2 statement. You
Damn
mentioned
right
the
I am.
music. Very nice work on the breakdown with Tim's light anomaly. We're going to come back to that. Said that was a nice catch. For what you showed in these clips, I would have to agree this place is very haunted. Those voices that came along with what you were personally hearing at that time seemed supernatural. The reason that we brought Jamie here, even though you weren't along with that investigation, you were watching it, you heard the voices in real time. We're going to talk about those and break those down. The Awoken one. Having a skeptic on the team makes Dr. Ghost Hunters the most unusual and interesting paranormal investigators I have ever seen. I will tell you this. First of all, thank you for the comment. The most unusual, we are only getting started with the weirdness that this show could become. But I do think having your skeptical eye at least makes it fun because you and I can argue constantly about what is real and what is not.
That's true. Yeah.
And we had one more from this guy, Wax Museum Podcast. Ricky, you recognize that one?
My guy.
Hard to say no to a good combo. Now, Wax Museum Kyle is one to frequent Taco Bell.
Yeah.
And one thing we didn't show with this, like one of the best parts of the investigation, we always hit up fast food on the way home from investigations. Rarely do we do Taco Bell. I think McDonald's is probably the leader, and sometimes
Dell.
Dell.
Yeah.
Which one's your favorite?
Dell.
Yeah, Dell's pretty good. And Ricky, sometimes we do go to Dell without you.
You better not, you son of a.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. There's a story behind that for another episode. But we certainly appreciate everyone's comments there. Guys, let's go ahead and break down some of the evidence and get into the evidence review. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
All right. We're going to start in the basement, which is where our most significant activity happened. Ricky, do you want to just talk about the overall vibe that's in that basement?
Yeah, I mean, it's dark, cold. A Although it was a pretty nice night, so I can't say it was too cold, but very dark, very dirty.
Yeah.
Bugs all over the walls. You didn't really want to lean against any of the walls. I tried to warn Tim. He didn't care.
No. I did see that in editing where you warned him.
Meh.
He did give it to you.
Yeah, he gave no S's. Yeah, no, it was creepy to say the least. It wasn't somewhere you wanted to hang out. It wasn't somewhere you wanted to spend the night for sure.
It's dark with lots of corners, and it is creepy. Jamie, you've been in that basement a few times. Tell me what you think about it, especially someone who doesn't necessarily believe in the ghosts.
I mean, I agree. It's just pretty gross and dark. There's a lot of low spots you have to duck under, and just kind of makes it creepy.
Yeah.
But not because of ghosts, just
Well,
it's just dirty.
let's see about that. So the first clip of evidence review that I do want to show for people is it's an EVP, I believe. Now, the setup of this is all the guys, me, Jason, Ricky, Tim were in this basement. On Jason's phone, we had a necrophonic app that was playing. And that one scans radio waves and is supposed to be a source where ghosts can talk through.
Mm-hmm.
But even though we were getting activity through that necrophonic app, we thought we heard something that was coming from somewhere else. Let's go ahead and take a watch.
We do have a question in the chat here. Ask Alice who is with her.
Alice, we think there might be someone with you. Can you tell us who that is?
Where's that coming from? Do one of you just say that? Just say what?
Something.
Do you guys just hear that? What?
I heard that too.
Do one of you just say that? Just say what?
Something.
Do you guys just hear that? What?
I heard that too.
Now, the real interesting part about this is we had footage through my iPhone, which was live streaming, through the GoPro, which is where everyone saw here. And then we also had footage from Jason's digital audio, which was sitting right next to his phone. His phone was in between Ricky and I down on the floor. We all heard it in real time.
Yeah.
I'm real curious about your response. Where did you think that came from?
I thought it came from the phone.
That's what I thought in watching back.
Yeah.
Coming through this, you were the only person who thought that it came from the phone.
Yeah, you guys kept it was clear as day to me from the phone. And then you three started going crazy about how it was outside the walls and over the hill and to grandmother's house.
Those hills are scary.
Those
hills
they have eyes.
Yeah, some would say. Which makes it even scarier. Now, Jamie, I didn't know that you were watching the live stream, but immediately after the live stream ended, you entered the chat.
Yeah, I actually wasn't watching the live stream, but once it posted after you guys were done with it, I started watching because I was in 2 hours behind because I didn't know that you had posted Eastern time. So I got on right when I thought it was starting.
I see. I see.
So I was watching it, and I mean, it's probably 15-20 minutes into you guys being there,
right?
That happened. So it was pretty quick after you finished.
But you were very confident about knowing where that came from.
Yeah, I mean, and I rewinded a couple of times because of the conversation you guys were having of where is it? Where is it happening in the room? Was it behind Tim? Was it from the phone? And so I kept rewinding and listening to it, and it really just sounded like it was coming from the phone only.
I want to play it one more time. This is the importance, and this is where the M&M comes into this. I can't tell you guys how traumatizing M&Ms are. I can't tell you,
they sound kind of good right now.
They are
nice little bowl of
these
M&Ms.
M&M conferences are truly terrifying because you get people who dissect and just interrogate the hell out of you. I've seen medical professionals just break down and leave the room from M&Ms.
Wow.
Let's watch it one more time.
We do have a question in the chat here. Ask Alice who is with her.
Alice, we think there might be someone with you. Can you tell us who that is?
Where's that coming from? Do one of you just say that? Just say what?
Something.
Do you guys just hear that? What?
I heard heard that too.
Did one of you just say that?
I
Just say
heard
what?
something.
Do you guys just hear that? What?
I heard that too.
So I royally screwed this up.
Hmm?
I put it in there. I didn't ask them what they heard. I asked them if they heard what, which is like the number one thing that you shouldn't do.
Yeah.
Because you plant that in someone's mind. Sure, maybe they heard something close to it and they're going to agree with it.
And now none of us can stop thinking about the word what.
No, like you wake up at 2 or 3 in the morning, you just text it to me like hundreds of times.
Still
It's
happens.
What?
Yeah. Can't get out of my head.
The
Earworm.
thing that I cut the clip on too, that I also royally screwed this up on. I said that I didn't think that it came from the phone.
Mhm.
Really, what we should have done is like separately discussed it and
Mhm.
where it came from, because this is really a pretty big deal, right? If it came from a phone and an app and it's just someone saying what, so what? If it's a voice that came from behind you,
Yeah.
which is what I thought it did,
Yeah.
that's a much different thing.
And you were positive that that's what you heard and where you heard it. So
I was, but it's hard when I thought it came from behind you and you were certain it came from the phone.
yeah.
You thought it came from the phone. You thought it was a no doubter. I can't get any perspective from the 3 different devices that we had of where it came from. So it makes it really tough. And it's hard because I thought that was one of our best pieces of evidence.
Yeah. That was the one that was talked about the most.
It
amongst
was.
us.
And I just feared that in retrospect, maybe it wasn't a disembodied voice. Maybe it was just the necrophonic app.
Yeah. I mean, you have to give us a little bit of credit. We're working under very hot temperatures. It's disgusting with the walls in there. Jason's body odor is going off. I mean, have you ever heard of deodorant? My hell.
It's also
you're
all
seeing-
concrete down there, so it's echoey.
Yes and no. I think that it's brick. No, I think
No,
it's
it's-
stone. I think it's stone on the walls, and then it's
The floors are
the
concrete.
floor is concrete.
Mhm.
That's right. So,
So I
the
mean,
echo.
regardless, it's all hard surfaces. So it could be that the phone made a noise, and you were standing away from the group.
Right.
And I mean, I wasn't there, but
It's important. It really is, because
Yeah.
a disembodied voice is so much more escalated on a paranormal scale. If you really want to get me going, give me a disembodied voice more so than an app.
and also when I mean, we've talked about this a million times. When you are ghost hunting, you're looking for everything and anything that could be something,
Right.
right? So you're on high alert. So if one weird thing happens, it's easy to jump on that and be like, what is that? And then just freak yourself out.
And that's where the mistake was made.
Yeah.
It is definitely where the mistake was made. Now, interestingly, even though that one may have been a dud,
Yeah.
immediately after that, more voices seemed to come from the spirit box, from the necrophonic app. None of us responded to it, and I don't know why. Let's play the clip.
What the fuck? Did you hear it again?
Okay, we're gonna play it back. I thought I heard a voice right before this, which is why I'm screaming profanities on our live stream.
I did. Why did we censor the
Watch-
voice?
Watch it again.
Okay.
It almost sounds like there are 2 voices talking over each other.
Okay.
Tell me what you think.
What the fuck? Did you hear it again?
Yeah.
Who said be quiet? Was that one of you guys?
It was none of us.
Are you sure?
Sure of it.
How does the necrophonic app work? That's what we haven't figured out yet.
Jamie, we didn't tee this up, but that's a perfect question. One of the things that I did want to go into today, I sniped a screenshot. Let's see if I can put this on here. This is a call to our listeners and viewers. I want to find Chris Rogers, the maker of the necrophonic app. So this screenshot came from the Apple device. We have tried very hard to find out who he is, to get him on the show, to figure out how he created this app. From what I can see, this is not an AI-based app. It says on the bottom it's an ITC app used for spirit communication and EVP research. If you dig into this, it also seems to state that it's not updated with later technology, whereas the GhostTube app, which we used to use, It straight up says, yeah, it's AI. It'll take what it's hearing in its surroundings and pump things out to you. But with Necrophonic, I just don't know that that's the case. But this is the app that we use. So again, if anyone knows how to reach to Chris Rogers, I would love to be able to chat with him. So that's where it came from, though, I think.
So is it kind of like the radio scanning thing that we use?
Yes.
Okay.
That's the thought
So it's
of it.
radio stations?
I think that's the
Maybe?
belief.
Okay.
I don't know. Ricky, thoughts on that one? You were right there, and you are the one who's in the camera view.
Yeah.
And you don't even move. None of us said anything after this. Like, we all just sat quiet for a few seconds.
Yeah, I think I was shocked at the type of language you were using. I've known you for 20 years, and that night I saw a different version of you. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's the thing you got to know. The Necrophonic app is constantly going, right? So you're going to hear stuff a bit, and I don't think any of us were talking directly to it at that exact moment. I think we were reacting from what we had heard previous. So maybe that's why it caught me off guard a little bit. But yeah, you can hear it clear as day when you go back and listen to it.
Yeah, I have a real hard time breaking this one down. I don't think it's a disembodied voice. I do think it's interesting that me screaming profanity and then it tells me to be quiet.
Yeah.
And it almost sounds like, to me, now I've given you guys a chance to respond, that there's like two overlapping voices, like one saying shh and one saying be quiet.
Yeah.
Let's hit it up just one more time.
What the fuck? Did you hear it again?
They are a little more separated, but I thought that one was of note.
Yeah. No, it was very interesting.
Very creepy.
You're sure that's not one of us repeating be quiet?
Be quiet sounds kind of like Jason is talking.
Yeah. Jason has a problem where he repeats whatever he hears in the exact tone. So you hear it twice.
Yeah, he does do that.
And you're like, okay, which one was it?
So it's a little.
You think that's
creepy.
Jason?
Yeah, it does.
I think-
One more time?
Jason.
I think we have a problem.
You think
I
he's
think
telling
it-
me to be quiet?
No, I think he might be repeating something.
Yeah.
Like Ricky said.
Okay, let's see.
I think we have a problem, and I
Like,
think
What the fuck? Did you hear it again?
Yeah.
No
It says
way.
the Necrophonic says be quiet really quickly before the other voice covers over
And
it.
says,
And then
"Shh."
he says
he didn't want to come.
So you're
be
saying
quiet in a creepy
It ca-
under voice.
it can't be, because
is.
this audio is with my GoPro, and I'm holding it. I don't think
Where
Jason's
was
standing
Jason
next to me.
standing? Again, it's a small room and it's echoey.
Do you think the second be quiet is Jason?
Yes.
What the fuck? Did you hear it again?
I've heard
It's
Jason
totally
whisper sweet
Jason.
nothings in
No
my ear
way.
enough. That's a Jason whisper.
Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah, and you know what? He didn't come tonight because he knew he was going to get his. We were going to bust his ass
Yeah.
for ruining the hunt. This hunt is tainted.
I truly thought that was something. That was like my big thing tonight.
Well, I think
That's a big
Jason's
deal.
been in your ear for the better part of that
Wow.
episode.
Right? That's why you do in the M&M.
Yeah.
Do you
No kidding,
have,
you both
do you
think
have
it's Jason?
cameras on Jason or anybody else
I
at that time?
might. I don't know that I can pull it up. Maybe like while we're talking through the next bit, I'll try and pull it up.
Next
and pull up
ghost
the
hunt,
episode.
he must wear the helmet with the camera.
The entire
Trained
time.
on his lips at all times.
I'll see if I can pull it up in the background and
he's
see if
not
we can find
allowed
out
to speak.
exactly
Yes.
where he is. That one's interesting. I didn't think you guys would be able to debunk that, but hell, that's why we do it.
Mhm.
All right, so I'm pulling up the picture. People here can't see it, but it's just Ricky zoomed in face here. All right, so we have one more thing in the basement that I want to get to before we take a quick break. We tried an experiment that was a little bit different from what we've done before. We did an S-Day session where Jason wore the headphones, had the spirit box plugged in, but then we also set up that new SB7 Pro that I bought this year next to him. So that's the one, it has never gone off. It has to be activated in order for the radio frequency to scan. So someone has to go up and either touch it or the REM pod has to go off.
Right.
Okay.
And so we thought it would be cool, like if they started talking to each other. That didn't happen, but we started hearing voices from somewhere else.
Held captive by somebody. Was that the voice that we heard?
What's that?
Did you hear? There's something outside.
Complimentary.
There should be nobody near us right now, and we're fairly sure we heard something outside the window.
Did you hear it too?
Yeah. Voices. Held captive by somebody. Was that the voice that we heard?
What's that?
Did you hear? There's something outside.
Complimentary.
Now, admittedly, that one's really tough to hear.
Yeah.
But when we were down there, you were getting ready
Yeah.
in your suit.
Yeah.
We could hear something out there. Now, something that did not make the show, and this is where I'm really interested to actually hear viewer feedback on this. What I edited out is about 20 minutes of us trying to debunk voices outside
Right.
of the window well from the basement. So I went outside with a walkie. Jason and Tim were downstairs in the basement. I started 100 feet back and just kept moving closer and closer and closer until they could hear me. You have to be up against the window well. If someone were to have somehow jumped over the fence, climbed inside, started talking on the outside, they could not see me, but they could hear me at one point. But also,
Yeah. And
we got fanboyed.
Yeah, you can trust me on this, telling this story.
Okay.
I don't know if you remember, there was some sensitive
Oh, I do.
information.
Yes. Oh, I do.
Yeah. So for Dr. Ghost Hunters, Chad has all this incredible equipment to help us capture all the video that we're showing you guys, allow you guys to watch it live with us as we're on the hunt. And it really is like a professional setup. And there are big TVs for us to see the different cameras throughout the mill. And they're showing out into the street. And I am positive that some local hooligans saw our equipment and thought that they were going to ruin a professional broadcast. So I go out there on my own. You guys are all inside. I'm in my Ghostbusters outfit. And all of a sudden I'm walking along the yard, the courtyard. And all of a sudden I hear boom, 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 and rapping music. And this boombox is starting to light up out of nowhere. It scared the hell out of me. And then it would go off. And then a few seconds later, it would start up again. And I am positive it was a couple troublemakers.
Yeah. And I think, honestly, especially that clip that I just showed, was probably that.
I think you're right. I think that's exactly what it was.
Yeah. In the real time, we just thought that place was popping with spirits.
Yeah, we were certain of it. Yeah.
Just the local folk.
The local with some pretty bad taste in music.
Having themselves a Friday.
Yeah.
Now, I will say this as I go back, just flipping back to that Jason comment one more time about him perhaps standing right next to me. It's not him. It's not him. Let me see if I can show this to you. Here is my edited footage. This is Jason over here. You can see his little Jason feet.
Okay.
Him in his all black. I mean, he's on the other side of me.
It's not Tim, huh?
No, Tim's over here.
So is Tim the Whisperer?
It could be Tim.
It really sounds like Jason.
I'm pretty
It's
sure
not going to be Jason from over there. I don't believe.
In fact,
that.
you can, with this episode of the Benson Grist Mill, you can play a drinking game for those of you that like getting blackout drunk, and just drink every time Jason repeats whatever his noise is said.
Does he do that a lot?
Nonstop. You'll be wasted. You will be a ghost by the time you
repeat
finish.
Everything that we hear
In the exact tone
in the
and volume.
Yep.
Well, Jason, knock it off. It really makes
we-
editing hard.
Do we need to call Jason and
Oh,
repeat?
yes. Yes. Sarah, we need to Bluetooth your phone onto the soundboard and then call
Right
Jason.
He might not answer.
But if he does,
We could leave a voicemail and then listen back to it on the show.
even better. All right. So while Sarah does that, we're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back.
So we're supposed to let you know that there is a Dr. Ghost Hunters website now. Website.
Yeah.
Also website.
Yes.
It's like OnlyFans, but for ghosts who died in the water. Yeah.
Yeah, that tracks.
So I guess the point of a website would be to let people know about new stuff and locations. Let us know about locations.
We have stuff for sale.
Yeah.
With our logo on it.
which, unlike ghosts, is real.
Mm-hmm.
drghosthunters.com. Oh, we also have a phone number.
Yep.
And we have a voicemail, which I think is pretty good.
Yeah. So call it, leave a message.
It's 844-GHOST-44. That's 844-GHOST-44. Visit our website, drghosthunters.com. Should we be like, I'm Sarah, this is Jamie?
No, we don't need that. They should know this by now.
They should.
Yeah.
They should have this shit down.
Okay.
Yes.
It looks good.
Thank you. Sounds good. Your hair. Okay, are we recording right now?
Has it been recording this whole time?
Yeah, it's been
Oh,
Great.
okay,
Okay.
good.
All right.
You guys did such a good job on the commercial. I like that. I give you guys like
Very
no heads
professional.
up, and it's like, hey, you guys are going to record a commercial. I think we have our technology served up here. Sarah, why don't you give the man a call? So what we're trying to do here, yep, I hear the ring. We're calling Jason. Is he going to be able to hear me through here?
Yep.
Wow, technology, man. I tell you what.
Amazing.
That's the critical ring. Ring number 3 is the
Uh-huh.
critical ring
Do
of
or
whether or
die.
not you're going to get something.
We can leave him a voicemail.
Do you think he knows how to check a voicemail?
Jason is not
I
available.
mean, his phone's an Android from like 1900s.
Jason, you are an android.
We have some questions. We think maybe the evidence could be tainted. You are live on the air, and you left us on ring.
Benson Grist Mill, haunt, ruined. Stop repeating all the noises we hear in the same pitch and tone.
Jamie, got anything for him?
No.
And
I
for
think we
the
covered it.
love of God, get some deodorant.
I don't know where that's coming from. Enjoy the cupcakes, my man. All right. Well, no luck there.
Yeah.
Well, let's move on. So I want to move to the attic. Now we have a couple experiences there that I think are of note.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, we had a clip with Tim.
Yes.
Now, there's an orb, and we talked about this on our orb show, that you see Tim sitting like in a trance of sorts. I don't know if he's meditating, if like he's projecting, astral projecting into another realm. I don't know if he's gambling. I don't know what he's doing. But you see an orb seem to come up from the left side of his body, almost kind of towards where he's sitting. And then in that moment, after the orb comes up, you'll see his head move, and he finally snaps out of his trance. Let's go ahead and watch this clip. Okay, we're going to run it back one more time for the orb.
Okay.
So I think that piece is interesting. I don't have the red arrow on there, which I did in the episode. I just must not have transferred over. It's interesting because he doesn't look up a whole lot.
Yeah.
It's so dusty up there.
He totally farted.
I mean, he may have, right? Like the purpose of this M&M is scrutinize it. He could have.
I remember distinctly when I was about 6 years old, and my little brother went to like primaries on a field trip at 4, and they showed him some sort of imaging of a fart, and they said it looked like a white orb. He farted, dude. I don't even know if you could image that, but he farted.
I think there's a chance that's what happened.
Ghost fart.
Right? I mean, ghost farts happen. We did mention Taco Bell, Del Taco, that happens around the investigation time. I think I brought donuts to that investigation.
You did.
Maybe that's a trigger, a paranormal trigger, which are trigger objects are a real deal here.
Did he
Jamie,
fart?
thoughts on that one?
I don't know. No, I don't have any thoughts.
You don't put your foot down. on
Is
that.
it possible he farted himself out of a trance? Is it possible? I'm just asking.
Let's run it back. And it's not just the head, it's the eyebrows too.
Yeah,
I just noticed
exactly.
the
It's the eye, it's kind of like
I think he's admiring his work. Tell me that those eyebrows are not the eyebrows of someone admiring their work.
I think it's more of perhaps concern that, hey, there's a camera here. I did think it was paranormal at the time. We even talked about it on the Orb Show last week. This is hard. We're really debunking a lot of the things that I thought were evidence, but I think it's good. I think it's a good thing to do. Jamie's just all smiles over here. She's like, yes, this is what we're here
this is
for.
what I'm telling you all the time.
But we've got one other clip that I want to show in the attic.
Yeah.
And Ricky, this is when you put on what we call the dream helmet.
Yeah.
I think Annie introduced the dream helmet, right? Like we created it and then she wore it at Petite Neat.
Yep.
It's kind of a play off the God helmet from 28 Days Haunted, Aaron Sager's 28 Days Haunted. And the Ghoul Boys from Watcher, they have a very similar helmet. And Jason and I, when we drive home from these late night investigations, we're going to start putting a recorder in the car because some of the stuff that we come up with, like what to do for experiments and commercials, is just comedy gold, at least in our mind. But anyway, we've got the helmet. You wear it. You start to get some activity. Let's play the clip first. I want you to talk to us about it. This one's about a minute long.
Now, I do have to tell you, I'm starting to feel and hear. I'm just being sensitive to anything I see, hear, feel. I'm not saying it is anything, but I am starting to feel some vibrations right here around my ears, like the helmet's vibrating a little bit. It clearly is not moving, but it's just kind of almost when you hear silence and you hear the buzzing, kind of a feeling like that, but very short and then stops. Started in my left ear. Then followed up in my right ear just a minute ago when I was talking to Alice. So maybe that's Alice sending us a message of what's going on. Alice, are you in here with us? Can you send us another message?
Ricky, describe for us a little bit more about what you were sensing in that moment.
Yeah, no, it's hard to explain. I mean, it was when silence gets deafening and you hear kind of that buzzing, kind of sounded like that and didn't feel much different than that, except for it almost had a physical quality where it was seemed to be vibrating in my ear as if I had a head jack or an earpiece in my ear that was just moving around a little bit, kind of a little buzz. I mean, listen, I was trying to pay attention to anything that I could see, feel, hear, as I mentioned. That's as close as it got for me. I thought that was interesting that it went on and off. But I couldn't tell you beyond that what it was. And I'm not sure it wasn't just a bit of silence getting into my head.
Of note, we did have equipment that was set up there with you.
Yeah.
And none of the other pieces of equipment went off.
No.
One of the things that we try to look for with Dr. Ghost Hunters is trying to have two pieces of equipment or personal experience and a piece of equipment go off at the same time to help with validation.
Yeah.
We didn't have it in that moment.
No, and it could be the fact, I think when I mentioned all that, the clip you played, I think I was fresh off of making all these excellent points about how Ghostbusters 2 is the superior movie. So it may have just been all these great ideas rattling around inside my head.
And it creates a buzz.
That's goddamn right it does.
Medically, lots of things can create that buzz. Sitting in silence, if people have tinnitus, or even if they start to experience hearing loss, they may not even notice it until they're sitting in silence. And then it manifests itself. So there could be a medical explanation for that as well.
What?
Exactly. I love the fact that you pointed it out. Something that Jamie and I have talked about as we've talked about you not having the same personal experiences as myself, or to a lesser degree, Jason, is trying to be hyper aware. But I don't want that to sound condescending, because as I was hyper aware earlier today, we're able to go back and almost debunk it, right? So it doesn't necessarily mean that it's paranormal, but in that moment, you sensing that I
Yeah.
think is a perfect call out in order for us to discuss it, especially if something else would have gone on. But I just wonder in retrospect what it was.
Yeah, no, it was interesting, a little creepy. But as those that watched the full episode saw, I had my combos.
Yes,
I
you
had
did.
my my wrestling cards.
Oh, that was
I was good to go.
I had the hardest time editing the episode because your combos and the story of the combos. If you haven't watched the full episode, go back and watch it. Even if you just want to hear this, a little behind the scenes about Ricky and I and our history.
Yeah.
And going down to Harry Potter World, just go watch the end of the episode.
And if you want to kick my ass for all the mouth sounds as I was eating those combos, just know you weren't alone. I wanted to kick my own ass. So I'm not sorry, but I won't go that far.
You'll acknowledge,
but
are
I'll
not
acknowledge
sorry.
it, how annoying it was. Yeah.
I like that a lot. I do want to say, guys, any other thoughts about the attic just before I transition there?
No.
I'm really interested to hear people's feedback on what they prefer to view with our content, because this one was especially challenging to edit because your attic was pure gold. Now, the only thing that I would say with a critique of yours, you didn't have more things go on, so it doesn't really matter. But just thinking back to the Eminem style nature of this, sometimes silence is golden.
Yeah.
Especially if we're listening for voices. Now, it would have been very tough to hear voices because that was the time that the people were driving around outside.
Right.
But the whole point of this, I could have played your entire 30-minute clip up there. And as I was editing it, I was just laughing my ass off, to be honest.
Well, thank you.
But it's hard for me to know what to put in there or not. So guys, as you watch this, if you want more, if you want less, you want it more highly edited, I'm always open to suggestions. I'll make sure to pass it along to the production team, the editing team. I'll go talk to myself in the mirror and read your comment and take that feedback and go forward from there.
He listens to Michael Jackson, Man in the Mirror, and read your comments to himself.
That's how I hype myself up before I edit. Guys, final thing. We haven't really got to this much this season, but season 1, we certainly did. Diagnosis. We've taken the most valuable pieces of paranormal evidence from this episode. Talked about our attempts to debunk. We talked about our errors. Jamie, diagnosis from this episode, from the live stream you watch, is it haunted?
Oh,
You were able to help debunk quite a bit of it here.
yeah.
Can you still explain the footsteps that we heard the first time we were there?
No.
So big
Sorry,
picture.
Do you want
so
me to elaborate?
well,
or-
no, I'm trying to think about like where to go with this. This episode, no, not haunted. Fair enough. Big picture, still not haunted.
I mean, I don't really think that anything is haunted, but there are some things that have happened there that we can't explain. Do I think that means it's haunted? Not necessarily. It just means we haven't figured out an explanation yet.
I can live with that.
Okay.
Ricky, diagnosis.
Lightly haunted.
a
Splash of haunt.
I like that. Very good.
Yeah.
A little splash of haunt.
Yep.
I do have to say, I think I try to be very open with like looking at these things. After this M&M, good news is the girls just came back downstairs and the dogs are going berserk, which is awesome. These are our ghost hunting dogs. Taking this in, I'm kind of discouraged from the ghost evidence standpoint of this, but it is what it is. Like, you guys both think that it came from that the main came from the necrophonic. You guys both said that it sounded like Jason, who said the second voice. The orb, we think we debunked. The vibration, we don't have anything else to go with it. I'm not certain that any of this that I thought initially was paranormal, on looking back on it, I'm not convinced it is. So I don't know that I say it's haunted this time. Yeah, interestingly enough. All right, guys. Well, that's our M&M. Anything else you guys have to chime in on? Jamie, got anything?
No, I like this though. I think we should do it more often.
I think the critique is very good. It helps me as I see it. Like I say, really try in the moment to not taint evidence. I'm a tainter. Many people have called me that in my day.
We need the bell. The one takeaway for me is Jason needs to stop cutting his hair with a Flowbee and needs to actually go to a professional that cuts hair.
Oh, I've got a story for you on that. It's going to have to come on our paid subscription. His person who cuts his hair is a side piece for a very prominent member in the paranormal field.
Oh.
Those stories are kind of juicy. You've heard them.
Yeah.
Release it in the box set.
Yes. All right, guys, let us know what you think. If you enjoyed the content today, we appreciate it. If you like, subscribe, leave a comment down below. Helps us out a lot. Share with your friends. Share on your channel. And we'll see you on the next M&M. You know what? God, I was so close to ending that thing. You know, I talked about some of the weirdness that Jason and I come up with.
Yeah.
We had a little commercial that we did last winter, and we played it buried in one episode, and it didn't get much traction. We're going to end with this little commercial for you guys.
I like it.
Just for your comedy and entertainment. After that, we'll see you guys later.
Did you hear that?
I totally heard
I want you to go investigate there, now. Go now. Over there. Right there. There it is. Show yourself, spirit!
Do you find your friends and loved ones becoming a little too immersed in their same ghost hunting shows? Dr. Ghost Hunters has the perfect prescription for you. Introducing Bacon's Busters, made with equal parts happiness, anti-steroid serum, and the ability to debunk all the things other people think are demons. This wonderful cocktail will have you back on the right track in no time.
Drink this.
Cheers. Portal!